Hello again. Time for another makeover project, meaning take a pipe that there's nothing wrong with it in the broken sense. It still functions fine to smoke it, but in the execution sense of the design or something about it is off and can be improved. Did this once before for a Dunhill 848, the big red bark Dublin a while back. So this is the same kind of a thing. We're going to go through the different steps to make this into functionally this. And what's going on here is these pipes are the same size almost to the sub-millimeter. They're effectively identical, but this one looks nice. This is a well-cut, high grade of its type. It's a kind of a black sheep sort of a line. They're not common at all. Years and years ago they were highly regarded. Now they've kind of diluted the mark, but it's a Savinelli Jubileo d'Oro, or Golden Jubilee, and it's quite a nice piece and pretty well cut. It gets a B plus anyway, maybe an A minus. But this guy is exactly the same pipe in terms of group size. It's a large group 4, maybe a group 5 in Dunhill terms, but it's proportionately very odd. The shank is too long. The shank is not parallel sided. It's got a taper to it. Where the stem was leveled, there's a pencil grind from the side profile that's visible. The stem work proper is amateurish. It's kind of a cross between a taper and a true bladed saddle stem, which is, we can fix that. And the bottom of it here is flattened as opposed to domed like this one is. And other than that, it's in pretty good shape. Now the nomenclature is in a position or a place that when we shorten the the shank to the same length, looks like, what is that? It's going to go down about 7/16 or half an inch. That will not affect the stamping on here. And we'll put an emblem in the new stem as well. So that's what's going to happen, and I'll take you through the steps of getting to there from here. And in a departure, we're going to be using acrylic stem material instead of a length of rubber rod. And the acrylic gets kind of a bad rap with a lot of people, and I'm convinced anyway that the reason for that has more to do with the execution than the material itself. The acrylic didn't really exist before as pipe stems until the late 50s or to the 1960s, and never really got popular until the 70s. And the material used was quite glassy and fragile and crumbly, and it polished well. It looked good when it was done, but it was chunky and thick. I've seen bite zones 0.190, 195. And so people got it in their minds, equated acrylic plastics with low grade or low mid-grade pipes. And the high grade guys avoided the material. So it became kind of a differentiating feature when there's no need for that as long as high grade acrylic is used and not the crumbly glassy stuff. For example, Mike Butera, who's one of the best American pipe makers in the history of the world, right, or history of America, uses acrylic exclusively. Most people don't even know it because they're so elegantly executed and comfortable. So you can make this stuff to the same dimensions as rubber. It's not necessary to make it thicker. This is tough stuff. It works quite differently than the crumbly, glassy stuff. You've not seen me work with it before, although I do actually use it quite a lot in my shop. And so we'll just start in and go to town on this and turn it into, functionally turn it into that one. Now, a final word before we begin, which is I've managed to confuse myself and probably a lot of you by trying to avoid duplicating making videos about procedures that I've already done on previous projects. And so I'd refer you back, or anyway, it got complicated, and the longer this goes on, the worse it becomes. And someone finally made clear to me that to forget about all that, don't worry about it. It finally hit home when they said, there are plenty of people that aren't shop types that just simply like watching how things get done. They're pipe collectors, smokers, hobbyists, or brand enthusiasts that are interested in the backstory on stuff, but that they might not actually have tools and work on pipes. They just like seeing the transformation. And that how that can be interesting time after time. They said, well, think of television programs. There's cop shows and medical shows where the plot is the same week after week, only the details are different. The patients or the diseases or the criminals or the crime, but it's the same. You know what to expect going in, but that doesn't stop you from being interested from week to week. And many of those shows went on for years. Many seasons. So in that vein, I'm going to just start not trying to anticipate what you guys worry about, what I've already covered. I'll just say, here it is from A to Z on this project. And if you aren't interested in the material, then it's no more work than to, hit fast forward and skip it. So that makes life easier for both of us. Otherwise, you'd have to be chasing down volume 7 of project 6 and all of that. So that's out the window. We're just going to do them for fun, and the techies will take away what they want, and the people after entertainment will be entertained. And so there we go. Alrighty then. So I'm going to get some tools and stuff set up, and we'll be back shortly. And we'll begin doing the work.